In the book Atomic Habits, James Clear talks about how someone can make better, long lasting habits and eliminate the habits that can be detrimental to your life. The book starts off with James Clear telling a story about the adversity he faced when he was in his sophomore year of high school. On the last day of his sophomore year, James and some friends were playing baseball together on the baseball field. When one of his friends took a swing, the bat slipped out of his hands, hitting James right in the face, breaking his nose and his face so bad that his nose looked like a dislocated U. Now this left him unable to play baseball his junior year. Being that James had a strong passion for baseball, he felt really depressed. This injury to the head was so serious that he couldn't recall the year nor the president of the United States during that time. During the recovery of this horrific injury, James felt hopeless and depressed. He had missed the entirety of his junior season. After this, he essentially gave up on life. He tried out for his senior season. He did in fact make the team, but he did not touch the field. He essentially given up on baseball until he attended Denison University and played baseball as a walk-on. It was only then he started paying attention to his habits. Ever since, he started going to the gym, and he put on several pounds of muscle in the span of 2 years, which really played out well for his junior and senior years of college baseball. He decided to turn his grades around and adopt better study habits to achieve all A's going forth in his college career. And so he did. Now moving on. Have you ever tried to start a new habit and you stick to it for a couple of days, but one day you decide not to do this certain habit and you tell yourself you'll do it tomorrow, then tomorrow comes and you tell yourself that again, then suddenly it becomes a continuum of just telling yourself that you're going to do it the next day and pushing it back. Then eventually you will put yourself down because of this. Let's say you wanted to do this habit because you want to reach a certain goal of some sort, whether it is to become an avid reader or a gym head, whatever the end goal is. James Clear makes it clear, no pun intended, in order to reach such goals, you're going to need a game plan. For example, if your goal is to be a better reader, it wouldn't be wise to try to attempt reading a book a week when you don't really have a history of reading, because such a task is way too rigorous for a new reader. A realistic approach would be to start reading 2 pages per day of that book, build a habit of reading with those 2 pages. Eventually, when you notice that this is getting easier for you, bump up the amount to 5, then 10, then maybe a chapter a day, then maybe 2 chapters, then maybe 50 pages a day. By slowly doing this, reading will be a part of your life. Eventually, reading a book won't be too rigorous for you. Or maybe you want to start going to a gym and your end goal is to get in shape and live a healthier lifestyle. Instead of trying to start off by going to the gym for 2 hours a day, try to make a habit of going 50 minutes a day, then gradually build up in a linear manner. The truth is, people do not want to start off like this. But if you want to build better, long-lasting habits, this is probably the best technique for you. Essentially, doing small habits like this, hence at the name Atomic Habits, can in fact make you a better version of yourself. James Clear repeatedly states that getting 1% better every day is better than not getting better at all. This is what James Clear says is the Goldilocks rule. If you're trying to start something that is too hard for you, chances are you aren't going to stick with that. If you start something that is too easy, then there's a good chance that you won't stick with it because it's not challenging you as much as you hope. Then there's in between. If you're trying to make a habit that's fairly hard but not too hard, chances are that you will stick with that. That is why this book urges you to know your limits and to try to be logical with your goals and the habits you are trying to implement in your life. This book has 4 laws to trying to start a habit. Law 1, make it obvious. If you want to start reading a book, put the book on your desk next to your phone or on the kitchen table. Try to make it obvious that you should start reading. Law 2, make it attractive. If you are a new reader but you have some history with it, it will be logical to read a book that interests you. For example, if you are into medieval stuff with monarchs, etc., read a book about kings and kingdoms and stuff. Obviously, if you want to start reading, you wouldn't want something that bores you or is too challenging. Remember about the Goldilocks rule. Law 3, make it manageable. This goes back to the Goldilocks rule. Once again, if you are a beginner at reading, you should not start by reading William Shakespeare books or a book that is 400 pages. If you are starting off this way, you are creating needless friction for yourself. Law 4, make it satisfying. If the book intrigues you, logically you should be eager to keep reading it. When you do get into the habit of reading, you will see that you are going to get better vocabulary, it be able to focus more and be able to read harder content going forth. What if you want to break bad habits that are ruining your life? If this is you, James Clear has not forsaken you. If you want to break bad habits, there are also followers for that too. Law number 1, making it invisible. This is contrary to making it obvious. If you want to quit smoking, throw out the pack of cigarettes, reduce the number of times you go to the store that sells them. If you aren't seeing them, then it may reduce your chances on falling back to that awful habit, or keep it out of your mind. If you feel lazy and want to lay down every time you want to study, then study somewhere beside your room. Law 2, make it attractive. Try to have a better mindset. Search up the effects of such habits. Know how this can be detrimental not only to you but also to your family. Chances are you may know that the habit can be bad for you, yet you still do it. If it's that bad that you even know it's bad for you and your health is suffering from it, you may need to seek professional help. Law 3, make it difficult. Increase the amount of friction. For example, if you have a problem with watching explicit videos on the internet, then enable the Safe Search features on all of your devices. If you still find yourself getting past the Safe Search features, go a step further and get an accountability partner. Make sure that person will be tough on you out of love and respect. Law 4, make it unsatisfying. This may be an extreme one, but make your habits known to close ones. Feel the embarrassment of your habits, so you wouldn't want to be a slave of it anymore. This is a very serious topic that this is sadly not talked about a lot. Start being more productive. Try to be the best version of yourself. You only get one life, one chance. If you want to start doing something as a habit, use the 4 laws to get it implemented in your daily life. Studies show that 40% of your day's actions are habits. Change now. Take advantage of now. Many families around the world wish they could get the life you have. Food on the table every day, a roof over your head, a bed to sleep on. Take advantage of your opportunities. Do not waste your day on social media. Now is the time for reform.